What's up, guys? Welcome back to Modern Craftsman Monday.
Guess what? It's Cyber Monday.
It is Cyber Monday.
Cyber Monday.
If you guys need some last-minute gifts, guys we're talking to today have a Cyber Monday code, but we're not going to give it to you now because that would, well, then you would just shut this off and go buy a bunch of stuff. Wait to the end where we give you the code. John, who do we...
And don't listen to what I said. They correct me because I gave the wrong number on the code.
Yeah, and if you do... Well, I don't know.
You're gonna be leaving. You're gonna be leaving some percentage points on the table.
John, who do we got on the podcast today?
We got 1620 Workwear. Local guys out of Massachusetts building workwear, sweatshirts, pants, t-shirts, button downs, hats, all the above.
Soon to be undies to compete with Lululemon. $70 undies.
But they're stuff that holds up well and locally made, and that's huge. I love these guys.
Basically, it's similar to what we're doing. They're looking to produce things, local, sustainably, and really putting a lot of money into research and product development, and putting out a quality product that's going to wear long, not necessarily throwaway type of clothing. It's more of an investment.
Dude, you hit the nail on the head. I do think that there's a lot of similarities between, you guys listening, what we promote, and, charging what you're valued, but backing it up with a quality product. And that's exactly what they're doing, just in a different space, which would be apparel.
Yeah. It's a good one. Go check out their product too. It's sweet.
1620usa.com. Podcast is brought to you by Duration Molded and Millwork. There's nothing like seeing, touching, and kicking the tires on a product. I don't like kicking tires, but hey, we'll stick with that. The folks at Duration invite you to join them, as well as myself, John, and Tyler at the LBM Expo at the Rhode Island Convention Center on Wednesday, December 8th and Thursday, December 9th. Show floor hours are Wednesday 10 to 5, Thursday 9 to 5. Johnny, Tyler, and myself will be hosting the podcast on Thursday afternoon and discussing how to build your brand and business through social media. For more information, simply Google LBM Expo 2021. Hope to see you there. This podcast is also brought to you by Reno Run. Tyler has alluded to the fact that he knows who you guys are or who Reno Run is, but has not used them yet. So don't take Tyler's advice. Take John and my advice and use them.
I see them everywhere now.
Dude, they're crazy. I think the vans,
Everywhere.
Yeah, this is probably why I can't order a van right now, because they are ordering them all.
I mean, I had a strategy meeting today with our CFO, and they're like, yeah, we just open an account with them. Instead of just, you can put it on your credit card. That's what we've been set up for in the beginning. But then we set up an account with them, and we use across the PMs and supers, probably over 3 days, everyone in the companies use them.
Yeah.
So it does get a lot of use. It keeps people and bodies on site instead of having them shoot out to homies or wherever it is, home goods store. And that's the biggest thing I think to me is getting the product there to feed the subs and to make sure you keep an eye on everybody. So it's a win-win.
You know what? I spoke to someone the other day, I guess our local rep or something like that, called and was talking to me, and I was like, yeah, it's been great. My guys aren't leaving in the middle of the day to grab product and wasting 2 hours of their time. And he's like, we do bigger orders too, right? And we'll help with takeoff. And I didn't realize that they're not just trying to hit the market of, like, we'll call it last minute deliveries, but they're trying to hit the market of, like, making material acquisition easier across the board.
Yep.
So Boston, Philly, Chicago. Am I going to say that right?
Canada.
In Canada.
Canada.
Well, Canada. There are people in Canada listening to the podcast.
I think that's where Dan's from.
From Canada?
Yeah.
He should be from Philly, so he can show up in your job site so he can stop calling you.
That's true. If I told him where my job site was. I'm more impressed with John just nonchalantly saying had a meeting with our CFO the other day.
Yeah, no, it was today. C-suite
over here.
Yeah, dude, that's big time.
No, we had to make that move. You go from, I think the numbers show, I mean, I think we're struggling in that end of the business. I mean, right now we're struggling in every end of the business. I feel like it's just not running as smooth as it should. But yeah, we had that heart-to-heart podcast, and we didn't give up. We were strategizing how to make things better, and that was one of the items we had to do. We had kind of outgrown certain personnel, and we brought in I mean, Nick, you had done it years ago. Was a remote CFO, and they have bookkeeping and handle the accounting and everything else. So it's nice to be able to get those updates. We have a cash flow meeting once a week, and we have a strategy meeting once a month, and they go through everything, profitability, every little thing, and then we can drill down on stuff, which was great. Where it was, hey, like I think we were saying, like our percentages, like we've been moving our percentages around, but it's like new eyes, fresh look. Why don't you take a peek and see if you're seeing something different? Because it's good to know that, hey, you can't go below, let's say 14%, 15%. We pull our management out, so it's separate, so it's not adding up to 25% on the bottom line. But it's good to know that. So when someone says to you, "Can you budge?" and you have a CFO saying no, it's great to know. And honestly, it's given us some. I know I have a different outlook on how to run a business and run projects, but having someone make you accountable beyond your bills to pay and your other stuff, which is like payroll, those items make you accountable. Having a CFO that checks in with you every week and knowing you have to chase down some old, AR, it's a different thing because you try not to make it about money, but at some point you got to value it so they value it. And it's been a nice move. I mean, they've been with us for I think 60 days or 90 days.
Nice.
And it was.
I might have to slide Polly into the CFO position.
I don't know if you keep good eye on cash flow.
Make a move. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's a nice thing.
You're big time.
I wish, man. If things are smoother, I think we're getting there. We're closing out those 2 jobs that we had. We had to pull the reins back in, and we're real close. We're probably trying to get everyone in before Christmas for both those products. One client lives there now, but we're trying to get out of their way for Christmas, and the other one we're trying to get in for Christmas. So it's good, and then we'll be able to refocus.
Johnny, did you get those pants?
I did get the pants.
Are they too baggy?
See him.
The slim fits we sold out of, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
Well,
I gotta swing back into you guys and get them tapered.
Come in and get a custom fit. Like come in and try on a bunch of different styles. Yeah. We'll get you fit up for sure.
Yeah, I definitely want to rock your stuff for sure. It's I got them. I was like, ran upstairs, tried them on. I was like,
too baggy. I know. I saw walking at JLC. I'm like, I know I have a perfect pant finally for Johnny. And I got back and I'm like, I got to get a slim fit for Hourihan. And they're like, that size is gone. I'm like,
well, the problem is like I used to love the jeans I got from Carhartt to rock those because they finally fit right, blah, blah. And they're great. And then I was like, I want to go with this other, like, not a dress pants, but the one I had on, the Chico. And I was like, all right. So I grabbed these pairs from, it's like Perk online. And dude, they fit. Like, when you're a stocky guy, there's things that just don't fit. Yeah. And I was like, and I got them. Dude, I must have ordered like 6 pairs of them. And I wear the shit out of them. And they're like, I love them. It's like like my wife says I have a man crush on, what was it? Jesus, the dude from A Star Was Born. The hell's his name?
Oh,
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper.
But I take pictures of him like in a pair of Chicos and a white sneakers. And she's like, "You're going to rock the vest too?" I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to pull the plug at the vest, but
it look good on you. I look at pants too often now, especially dudes in pants. But I was like, those fucking good on fucking Johnny. He's definitely pulling those things out.
I think it's gonna make me look taller. I mean, being 5'8", I'm trying to do anything I can to be a little taller. So a slim fit,
dude. I'm super curious. You said the slim fit are sold out. Is that because you didn't order a lot, or do you think that they're becoming more popular?
It was a test, and we carried them for a while, right? We carried those for a while. And we'll bring them back next spring. It's just, kind of how we've grown the business. And, launch new products has always been testing and using our customers as, R&D in a positive way. We know the fabric is proven, the workmanship is proven, and just trying to come up with different fabrications and prove out if it's demand or not. And that was a really slow mover. And then, of course, we sell out, and it's the number one requested product, right? It's like that's
right.
Every product that we've had, it takes 6, 8, 10 months to build up some momentum, and then all of a sudden everyone wants it. And we'll have it back in the spring, maybe in a couple other styles.
It's funny too. It's like pockets of the country, right? I mean, we weren't sending much fucking slim fits to like fucking Texas or Illinois or the Dakotas. but like East Coast, West Coast, Chicago.
Hello. Yeah.
Nick.
Like that's my biggest gripe with workwear. I like my clothes to fit. I don't like a baggy shirt. I don't wear like tight jeans, but I wear slim fit, like jeans. They're tapered to my leg. They're not baggy.
Yep.
And that's always been my biggest gripe, like with workwear. And I end up, John, it's the same thing. Like I found a pair of jeans that showed up in the mail, like in one of those mail, like I think Stitch Fix or something. Put them on. I'm like, these are the best fitting jeans I've ever had. And I went online. I ordered every single color
Right?
they had.
That's what I did.
And I haven't worn another pair of pants since.
Nope.
And it's like when someone's like, "Oh yeah, we're coming out with a slim fit work pant," I'm like, "Yeah, send that to me."
But like these still aren't like, I don't do work, and neither does Nick. Compared to people that work. Like I used to rock the Carhartts and all that stuff and tear them up. But these still, like, you're trying to find this middle ground, because there's still days like I was still lifting a stove into place, and you're leaning all over dust and whatever. These still don't hold up.
And that was my, like I had Levi's forever, but they, and I don't, as John say, work, but even
it wasn't a shot.
I know it wasn't a shot, but even the little that I do that's physical or whatever I am doing, the jeans are still blowing out. So it's like, they're great for the price point, but then I end up spending double the money on the jeans I'm wearing now because they last longer.
Yeah.
And I'm all for that. Like if a pair of jeans costs $100 instead of 50, but they're going to last me 2-3 times as long and they're great fitting, I'll pay that. But it's the same from a workwear standpoint. If someone said, "Hey, I'm going to, you want to come work with me this weekend and do roofs," I'd put the same exact pair of pants on.
100%.
Which they're not work pants, but they're the pants that fit.
But even vice versa, when I was a carpenter, I wore whatever I wore every day to hockey, soccer practice with my kids, whatever it was. So there's a blurred line there where you find yourself, there's only a few times, like that's what I used to love doing all the speaking gigs, because I would literally get dressed up. I'll be like, I finally when do I get out? So now it's different, because I want to have a professional look. Like Nick rocks the collared shirts. I want to have a professional look that's still like my look. I don't want it to be like anything else, but if I could find, that's why I was so pumped when you sent me the pants. When we saw each other at JLC, I was like,
I was hoping they might, because we do have a straight leg fit, but you're the slim. You need the slim.
Well, the problem is like even stains and stuff like that. Like I know, like even when I put those on, I was like, dude, I'm gonna rock these. And I know these aren't a winter pair of pants. Straight up, like these, I'm gonna have to slide into some thermals and then try and slide these things on, just because you want that look. And it's changed. Like to Nick's point, I was never a slim fit guy. I was like, boot cut was like my biggest thing. And whenever I had slim cut back in the day, I'd always cut the inside.
But
that's
style too. Like back probably all the way until college, I was always a baggy pants guy. And then it's like it's
like,
only
how baggy are we talking about? Just so we can paint a picture for the listeners.
Definitely not like the Jinko jeans or whatever they were.
Jinkos.
Like, but I definitely had boot cut, and I definitely slit the inside to make them flare on the bottom of my boot.
I didn't know if you wore them low.
Or like my ass hanging out.
Yeah,
I definitely did that.
Did you?
Yeah, I was like,
yes.
Like, and I have a
What's
photo.
What's the point?
I don't know.
90s.
No idea. 90s. Yeah, it was just a style. But now it's like I wear a slim
jean,
and it's like
annoying.
I don't even want like what do they call it when the break? Like when I wear a suit, like I don't even want to break in my suit. It's like you gotta have it so it breaks on the shoe. It's like no, I'm actually now my pants are a little high, so it's like you see just a little sock or skin if it's in the summer. But it's just style. I know you like that little ankle.
You guys walk in both worlds. You got to deal with the guys on both sides of it. And you're dealing with finance and what's going on, the size projects you're working on. It's a completely different style set, and
but like you said, it's also the pockets of America.
Yeah.
You're not sending particular styles to particular pockets of America.
I feel like it's like trucks too.
What'd you always say? There's
an ass for every seat.
There's an ass for every seat. And that's the truth. It's like you can't, and as a small company, you kind of can't make it for everything. I mean, you touched on the quality. I mean, Ted and I, we just had our board meeting. We were just kind of talking and shooting the shit a little bit about this. I mean, I think there's big misconceptions at our price point that like we're just making these huge margins and we make all this money. It's like if we were importing flannels, fucking selling them to dudes, like we'd be making a lot more money. It's just there's a lot of cost in what we're doing because we want the quality to be at a certain place, and most of the cost is in fabric, and
Right.
and the best in class fabric and best in class trim. So like when you do wear a slim fit pant of ours, it doesn't blow out in the crotch, and you do get multiple years of use out of it. You can hammer on it, and with it comes a price tag, but it matters. The quality matters because it's just this, arguably workwear is the most wasteful fucking clothing category in the country, like times two. People talk.
What is? Sorry?
Workwear.
Oh, workwear.
People
That's the most wasteful category?
Arguably, it's probably the most wasteful clothing category in the country. There hasn't been enough. Everyone's focused on fast fashion, H&M and all this shit, but I know dudes that go through a couple pairs of pants a week, and have gone through multiple pairs of pants. I know a bridge deck repair foreman for SPS local company, and he said weeks where he's gone through 5 pairs of fucking pants. 5.
Meaning like one and done? Like never worn them again?
Catastrophic blowouts, rips, tears, fucking burns, shit from grinders, and so guys will be like, it's throwaway, I just want to buy something cheap, and they're in that kind of mindset where like, I don't give a fuck, it's 30, 40, 50 bucks, I'll just buy it, boom, boom, boom. And
but that's so true about like the industry in general.
Yeah.
And I think like we do that with tools. When I used to buy all my tools at like Grossman's Bargain Outlet. That was my jam. And I just didn't know that there was another level. That's one of the reasons why I wanted you guys on, is that, when you're younger, your experience only, like, you don't know what you don't know. And it's like, I didn't know any better. I was like, this is cool, and maybe then I started getting catalogs for like, the Tool Hunt or whatever it was. And you find all these different options. But that's the thing. It's like Carhartt was not, I want to say maybe it was the bench that was set, that it was like, this is expensive. It's cool. It's durable. And then after you wore it, like I have a pair that are like the thermal pants with they're lined, dude, and the jacket. And like they have worn out like on the wrist and everything else, but they were still bulletproof. And there's something about, I feel like it's like, when you put your jersey on for a sporting event, like there's that kind of, it's like your armor. It's like your suit, like you feel more comfortable. So when you do have a blowout, and I'm not the guy that is a throwaway every day, but when I was a carpenter, there was something about knowing that I'm going to go do something in the winter and I had these pants or this jacket, and it just, you're like, I don't need to worry about the elements or anything like that. And I know I'm going to still look good and presentable, but I'm going to be able to protect myself and work a full day. How many times I used to go to work and be like, you throw on like 6 different shirts and a sweatshirt hoodie on top of that, and you'd be totally uncomfortable. So there is something to be said that once you do find that groove, is to stick with it. And it's like tools. You might buy crap and you go through it. And I remember when I went to my first Festool, it was like, because I had bought 3 of the same tool over the last 2 years or 3 years, and I was like, what am I doing? Let me just spend the $700 instead of the $125, and because I didn't want to have to relearn a tool or relearn, that. I wanted my routine, and that's huge for what we do. If I don't have to think about clothes, or like, I know when it's raining out, I can grab a certain jacket and hammer out the door, and I don't have to focus on it. Otherwise, I'm annoyed all day, every day. So that's why it's cool. When I found you guys years ago, I loved it. The fact that you're local to Massachusetts for us, and you're building cool shit. I was like, I just drove to wherever it was, with Lawrence, wherever it was that you guys were hanging out. Haverhill, yeah. And I was like, I'm going there.
Buddy, I'll never forget that lunch, man. Not many people were buying us lunch back then. We were fucking starving.
I think Kevin O'Connor is the one who turned me on to you guys. Kevin's like, you got to meet these guys.
He's been a really cool cat to us, and like we have a ton of respect for Carhartt. And you're right. I mean, that duck cotton canvas is a proven workwear fabric, and they're the guys that have done it. They've made more garments in this country than probably Levi's, and they're a huge company right now. I mean, over $1 billion company, and we're trying to do something different. They've been super cool to us. We have a ton of respect for them. They've been kind to us, actually. And, you got to have respect for like that big OG workwear brand. That's like, it makes like, whenever you say like, oh, you make workwear, like what's the first thing everyone says? They're like, oh, like Carhartt, it's just like Carhartt's like, it's just synonymous with workwear in the country. And like, you can't, the lineage and how far that brand's kind of jumped out, and hip hop culture and all these kind of things, it's definitely like an iconic brand, but we're trying to do like the complete antithesis of like duck cotton canvas, right? Because it's just, that fabric it is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. It pulls water off the ground. You'd be like, you're soaked to your crotch if you're working on a slushy day by noon. Like it's just the water just creeps up that stuff, and it's the same shit that like our great grandfathers were building the railroads in. Like it's super old fabric technology, and it's proven, and that's what, and guys are used to it, and but we're doing something different.
Absolutely.
You know, when you say that they've been cool to you, and I think that's awesome, but it makes me immediately wonder, and maybe you don't know this, but like, would your consideration, like long term, right? I think of a lot of people that I've talked that are in the clothing industry, their goal is to eventually be bought out by, in your case, someone like Carhartt. When you think about 5, 10, however many years, like the long-term plan is a thought that 1620 becomes a brand that is side by side with Carhartt, or that Carhartt steps in and says, you know what, you guys really kick some ass. We want to acquire this. Or has that?
I was trying to answer this question.
No, it's a great question. Yeah, I mean, I think we, the blanket answer is we don't really know what's going to happen in the future. I think, we have dreams of, becoming a large scale brand and competing on a global level with all the global brands. And we think that, 1620, like the mission and what we founded it on is really about making the best product and about making it here in the US. And we have, a little bit of a moat around the product and the business itself because of that. The name has, made in USA connotation. So it's a kind of a pure play made in USA brand at the moment. And, I think having someone like a Carhartt or a Duluth or, even like a large, like a VF or someone, come in and be interested, it's purely from, a strategic, like they can wrap us up in, get some savings because of their operation, and they can, absorb a lot of our overhead in that and extract kind of more value. But I think it's going to have to be, the right opportunity. I think, more, I would say like, we're privately held. We've taken some investment from private investors, and, the goal is to grow this thing as big as possible. And, we don't want to poke the bear in the eye, but we certainly want to be a thorn in Carhartt's side for as long as we can. And I see the more likely scenario is that they just get tired of us because we're creeping into their market share. And every one of our customers is a Carhartt customer, right? I mean, we're taking dollars out of Carhartt, and now we're still a modest business, but in 3 or 4 years, as we continue to, double the business every year, eventually we're going to be a pain in their butt. And I think that they're going to, out of the most, Carhartt does a lot of business, but, they do a very small amount online, or pre-pandemic they did. And so we get to be a few more years down the road, and we're competing pretty closely with what they're doing online. And, I think the acquisition is less, because we had talked to Carhartt a couple of years ago, and they're focused on the Carhartt brand. And so their acquisition of 1620 would be to snuff it out to, and maybe, absorb our stuff and have a made in USA portfolio within their brand. But, I think that would be somewhat painful to see. But, again, it's we're just trying to deliver the best product, and whatever's going to be able to deliver better product to this customer is, how we're going to try to, position the business going forward, because that's, really what it's all about. Johnny, you touched on something really early on, is that what you have your pants that you wear to your kids' soccer games, and you wear them out to the bar, and you wear them everywhere. And that was something really early on that we identified as, the versatility of this North American customer, and why Carhartt's work so well, even maybe above like what a Duluth is, because the Duluth still looks like a work pant. It still looks, you kind of stand out because you're wearing something different. And so, we, even though our product still looks somewhat different off the shelf, it's really meant to be, subtle performance, understated performance, and really allow, the person that's wearing it, they know what it is, they know what they can do in it, but they're also confident to go to their, kids' soccer game or parent-teacher conference and not have anyone judge them because they look like they're, a tradesman or something.
Can't be rocking like high-vis Snickers at your soccer game. People are gonna be like, what the fuck is going on? Like that European journeyman style, work pants style is just like super functional, but like you just can only wear it one place,
Well, the thing is, like, there was a certain point in my career where, you transfer into management, and I helped run a couple companies, and the rule of thumb is you're always going to Carhartt. You're always going to certain things. And honestly, for the longest time, their stuff fit like shit, and just recently in the last 3 years, I'd say that they were able to start getting stuff a little bit refined fit, which made it more comfortable to wear more often. Before, you'd be like so bulky, so whatever, it was built for the extremes. They've come around to different stuff, but like I switched to like, I just wanted a different image. So we'd go to like all our PMs would run North Face, that way you get, like I made the comment before about like a vehicle. If you drive a piece of shit vehicle, the clients don't think you value yourself. And if you don't value yourself, you're not going to value the project. So if you dress up and look like shit, I get this. I always joke with painters, like, do you get anything on the walls or like plasterers? Because they're covered in plaster, caulking, paint, whatever. And I have those pants. Don't get me wrong. But it's like, when you get to a certain, I don't know, I don't want to say level because I hate that. It's just when you want to attract a certain clientele, you want to have a certain look. Like I have a used Denali because I want it. So if a client wants to get in the truck with me and drive to a project, they can. Not be like, dude, I'm not getting in that piece of shit. Or it's got brake dust all over the front rims, whatever, because it makes everyone question it just from that 1,000-foot view. You might be a great person, a great builder, and that goes for clothing. So that's why we switched to, had everything lettered with North Face. And now it's like, now how do I get something that's durable? Because that stuff wasn't. You'd burn through that. You'd spend $200 and something on a jacket. Like I have guys now that we buy Carhartt jackets for, and they burn through them in like a week. And it's like how you got to find a fine line, and it takes work to find it.
And it carries over to like a lot of different stuff. I mean, like there's this kid, George Sawyer made up in Vermont, hand makes like $1,000, $3,000 Windsor chairs, does like full courses teaching you how to make these chairs, like same thing. Like he can't be, having whatever kind of clientele is coming in to learn how to build a Windsor chair in a beautiful part of Northern Vermont he's got to look sharp. He's got to look tight. And like, it's every vocation. Even if you're the guy and it's your first, your first spray at your own HVAC company, like you just want to look sharp. You want to look pro. You want stuff that's going to look good and last longer and not have tears and not have rips and wash cleaner and do all these things. And they can only do all these things if you use the best in class fabrics and the best in class materials. You can't import shit fabric. You can't use shit fabric and shit componentry and expect the product to look good over a period of time and function. It's like anything.
It is, and I'm sure you guys battle with it. I think what you alluded to is that it is the communication about the investment, because I think about, for us, John, like it was super important that everyone had t-shirts, that everyone looked the same, that we were the same thing. We had good looking vans. We got all the Mercedes Sprinters because in my opinion, I like the Mercedes. And
Bentley didn't have a van.
And Lamborghini was a couple years out. But the point is that and I think about shirts. Like I'm wearing I went through 40 polos, ordered every fit size I wanted to my shop, tried it on, and I had a box of them because I just wanted something that fit and looked good on my guys and it wasn't sloppy looking. And it's like, and I wear them, but it's and it was strictly based on the aesthetic. And now, exactly what John said, it's like, okay, I've done that. Now everyone looks the same. It's like, now I need to find a product that looks like this, but holds up
and comfortable.
And comfortable.
Because you're in it
like
a ton.
You check the boxes from a clothing perspective. I think you check the boxes of what fits and looks good. And then durability is usually like after that. Maybe not as much in workwear, and maybe I'm speaking from a personal perspective, but I would buy something that fits and looks good before I find something that's durable, because it's more difficult to find something that's durable and looks good and fits well.
Yeah, but when you were a carpenter, take me back. I mean, I think it was all about durability and performance.
Wasn't. For me, it was like it. I can think about. It was always about aesthetic. Like I always wanted to look sharp, and when I was a carpenter, I always had a button down on. And when I showed up to the job site, I'd take it off and work in a t-shirt if it was hot. But otherwise, they were like Levi button down, like flannel, or the lightweight plaid ones for like the summer. And that's why it was only 2 years ago that I got the polos, because I was like, I'll wear a short sleeve if I have a collar on it. And it's like I very rarely do I show up to work in a t-shirt. Not there's anything wrong with it. I prefer to have.
He's saying that because I wear t-shirts.
No, I think that you said it. I know.
I remember the day he walked into a job site and it was huge, and I had shorts on, sneakers and a t-shirt, and he was so tied up in what I was wearing and not what the job site was.
But now I show up on my job site and I have white Converse on.
I know, but I remember I walked away from that walkthrough and I was like, am I crazy for wearing this? Because it's I question everything. And it's like, because you meet some architects that are like artists, and they have like, we had a California architect come in, and he's wearing like a Run DMC hat and like I'm like, I want to just dress like that dude, but be a builder.
Right.
And that's where I've gotten to. And it's tough, but I do think that over the last, Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, or like 5 to 7 years, your aesthetic as a carpenter, a builder, contractor, it's become more relevant to how you dress and how you respect yourself on it. Because it used to be wife beaters and totally ripped up jeans. And now that's like, if you're a young contractor getting in the business, you got to think that the majority of people that are walking into that kitchen and bathroom renovation to meet the client are putting the tools down, like caulking still like wet in their pants, like on the outside of their pant where they just wiped it off. Now they're shaking your hand type of thing. And if you walk in presentable, you, like I said before, if they're thinking about, like you said about signs for the front of the job site or the truck and lettered, if you take that much time into thinking out those things, like I had aluminum signs made that sit in the stand. If you're thinking about that, then they're thinking about way more things. That's what you want that client to be thinking of. And that's the client you want, is that they're like, you're thinking about way more than just getting from point A to point B, how you get there, what has to be done. If Tyler was on here right now, that's where his bread and butter is made, is what's he doing between all the tasks that get done. And how you look is, these guys taught me that, you know, I'm just following along.
Yeah, it matters. It's cool to hear you guys say it. You know, we definitely, when we get a chance to talk to a customer and see what he's doing, if there's foremen, if there's senior level guys and all that kind of stuff, there's a certain pant we try to send their way, or product we try to send their way.
Perfect timing.
We were just talking about you, Tyler.
He loses
frozen.
He'll get hooked up.
Yeah. Plus, it's my color scheme.
Recording this whole time?
Oh, we've been recording, right? This is I like this. This is a good format.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah. You think we were just like hanging out?
We're 26 minutes in.
I mean, we're hanging out. Like we're totally hanging out. But...
I wish I had beers.
Every other podcast we've done has been like formal introduction, very dry, like question and answer. This is much more.
If we do that, then it's like, you ever start a game? There's this intensity and this kind of nervousness that comes up that normally wouldn't be there, and you take a couple of shifts to get into it. And we found that it's tough to break people into stuff that some people listen to their first podcast. And if you do that format, they don't get comfortable till like an hour in.
Right.
And so we've been doing this for what, 1.5 years, 2 years, this format. We just kind of roll.
It's great.
And before you know it, you're just super comfortable.
Having a conversation.
I wasn't on Wi-Fi.
That makes sense.
How are you?
Not bad. You? Where the hell are all the clothes? You guys are sitting. There's nothing on the wall.
It's all sold out.
Yes.
Damn.
We could have put some stuff up here. We have like a full showroom out over here. We could have done the podcast in the showroom, but we're doing some local radio spots on like BZ and WZLX and the Bull, and like, so we get dudes are coming in the showroom all the time to see stuff right now. So we wouldn't be able to. We'd like to do it out there so we could show stuff. We just rolled a couple of things in here.
I mean, most people are just listening to this anyway, so it's
He's just giving you shit.
Yeah.
Good.
Just came on. I drove by your new building the other day.
Good building, yeah. We were psyched.
Where is it?
It's in Amesbury, Mass, right off of 495.
Oh, nice.
Basically, you can see it from the highway.
You know where if you're driving north on 495, there used to be a sledding hill on the right in Amesbury Park. Snow park in there.
They're doing work on it right now, right?
Yeah, they're putting up like
indoor hockey rinks
up top on the hill. They're putting like a little mall down there, so when kids are skating, moms can go buy some frozen yogurt and stuff.
What exit is Amesbury on 495?
Used to be 54. I don't know with the new numbers. I'm not sure.
Oh, why did they change everything? I'm so
like probably
they spent what millions of dollars getting signs that say used to be exit number.
so funny. Like, you know, GPS, like those old, like before everyone used their phone, you had like those GPSs.
TomTom.
You couldn't even TomTom would fucking work 50% of the time in the state right now. Like it's just like, we didn't think the maps are totally different.
I don't know where I can't think of where that sledding hill is. I used to drive 495.
Right before it merges to 95, like literally the last exit on 495.
West Salisbury.
Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. I got you. It's way up there, yeah.
It blew my mind when I first met you guys, and I went to that building, and I was like, I think you had like a seamstress. I was like hanging out with you guys.
She's still with us.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I'm talking with you guys, and you're talking, and I'm probably not even looking at you because I'm like trying to take it all in. I was like, does she do all their clothes? Like, she's just there all the time, one person banging out the clothes. But I think that's what compelled me to be like, I want to wear this stuff. Because I get Carhartt gets built up and done by whoever and wherever. But I was like, the fact I know it's coming from, I can drive to your spot. That was my jam. And I love that.
We want, who knows how long we continue to do exactly what we're doing. But right now we stand behind the product with a guarantee. We repair it. You know, if you buy a pair of 1620s, you blow the crotch out, you send us an email, my crotch is blown out. You cover shipping to us. We fix it for free. We cover shipping back to you. And typically we'll go reinforcement, check any other kind of spots on it. We keep the stuff in the game, and that's like your value. And we also have a program called the Patina program where like used seconds, blems, or guys that just want to get into a new pant, we'll give you a credit sometimes, case-by-case basis, towards like a new purchase, and we'll take all those used things. We sell them all used to this Patina program. We had like 150 pieces up a couple of weeks ago. It sold in like 4 hours because it's, you know, it's a better price point kind of thing. And so we're just trying to make stuff that lasts and stand behind it and give these guys a value. You know, like we touched on earlier, like our margins aren't insane. You know, we're not like importing shit and selling it for $200. Like the cost what it costs in the US to make the stuff at the level we're making it. And, you know, there was like a 60 to like 70 day span this summer. We had like a close to an 80% repeat purchase rate on pants. Dudes don't fucking buy pants at that rate if they're bullshit and they don't last and they're not everything that they say we are. The marketplace fucking dictates everything. It's just like the marketplace dictates what people are going to buy, what they're going to wear, and you can't bullshit quality. Not with this customer. Like he's the last customer you can bullshit quality with, you know. So it's kind of what we've been hammering on, and it's been tough. You know, when we first came out, and our first launch collection was 198 and 228. People were just like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about? You're going to sell pants?" And when we were out raising money and first meeting with guys, like the white collar world just couldn't get it through their heads. Just like couldn't like get past like a plumber's going to pay what? Like they just couldn't, you know, because they don't even talk to the guy who's hanging cabinets in their house. It's their wife. So there's like a total disconnect of like what's going on and the money that's being made and all that kind of stuff. So it's really, really interesting. And it was super tough. And now we're sitting here with like supply chain inflation and all this shit. You have these, you know, brands are like, oh, we're cutting the middleman out. We're going direct to customer, and they're dropping $120 pants, and they're 100% imported. It's like, you know, come on, you know. So it's interesting, and things are going to change super quick with wearables and what people are paying for them, and hopefully, you know, people think quality and longevity because it's better for everything. You know, we're all outdoors and we all want to be outside. Like clothing game, like. You know, tell you he lived in mainland China for 5 years. When he comes back, he can tell you about his background, like managed high-level manufacturing at a major factory, like $500 million turnover. He basically managed as like the value chain like director, and like it's fucking gnarly business. And it's like there's a huge environmental impact in what goes on and how we buy clothes. You know, how we relate to clothing as Americans, what we spend on it, what we perceive as value, and it's, you know, we think this customer gets value, and that's why we think it's going to work here, you know.
Where are you guys producing stuff now?
So we produce a bulk of our product in Everett, Massachusetts. And then we also produce some things in the Carolinas, some things in Texas still, some shirting in Texas.
Yeah, Texas, headwear in California.
Because there's a lot of textile production in Carolina still, right?
There is, yeah. I mean, we actually get a lot of fabric made there as well. Our Nico fabric is made in the Carolinas, and our hoodie fabric. The main industry down there for textiles is actually furniture and upholstery.
Yeah.
And so where our factories are on the cut and sew side, they're competing with furniture makers that are paying like $25 or $30 an hour right now because there's such a demand for furniture is 4 or 5 months wait to get a sofa. So it's been challenging and tough with labor down there. Not COVID obviously has been was an issue last year, and now it's like they're having to pay significantly more to get the same not highly skilled worker to to sit on the sewing machine. So it's fraught with challenges, but we're making some investments in some things. We're shoring up here internally. We have a small sample room and the ability to make all of our products if we have to. We're not looking to go down that route internally, but we're definitely making some investments just in case there's another pandemic or something that forces us to have to pivot to sew everything ourselves. We can do that.
So the goal is not to outsource stuff outside of. The goal is not to outsource stuff outside of the country. Sorry.
The goal is not to outsource anything. Correct. Yeah. We do buy a couple of highly specialized fabrics that we can't get in the U.S. Mostly trim stuff, just a couple. But all of the cut and sew and labor is done in the U.S. And I think part of it when we started the brand, we were producing a couple hundred pieces at a time, and you look at like sample costs and shipping costs and development trip costs, and it's cheaper to make stuff in the U.S. at a small scale. As we've grown, we have some programs that are certainly could meet volumes of Asian manufacturers, and it's been an interesting to navigate and to grow with a couple of suppliers that have literally doubled their size because of our volume, and so that's actually kind of interesting to see and grow a business kind of tertiary to our main core business. And we think, look, I lived in China. I think Josh had just mentioned I lived in China for 5 years and worked at a factory that specialized in like technical outerwear, pretty much like activity specific. So running, hunting, cycling, fishing, a lot of outdoor gear, ski wear, mostly at the top 10 or 15% of the market. We also did a lot of workwear, and the knowledge, this factory had been around for 30 years. They had learned 30 years ago, the knowledge came from Germany and the US and technical contractors from, Adidas and these brands coming in to teach the Chinese. Well, the factories that we have here, there's still some of that original knowledge base. And then there's some people that, have learned as in their home countries. It's definitely like I don't know, what is Josh? The word
I was
Josh
calling
uses?
sanctuary jobs.
It's
It's
sanctuary
first and
job.
second generation Americans that know how to sew, and like these jobs are anchor jobs. They're anchor jobs for like building block for like what the American should be, and they're opportunity jobs, because it's not fourth and fifth generation kids that are working in factories sewing garments, and that's why they're super
realistically
important
most
jobs. And like we've been all through the Carolinas, all through Kentucky, all through all these places, and we're heading.
So realistically, most people who are outsourcing to India, other parts of Asia, it's not because they're getting a higher quality there. They're able to get stuff on a timeline or obviously budget. It's less money to get a lot of stuff produced in the factories over there.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely different areas of overseas production. I think, the China, the Vietnam, some of these countries that have been producing garments for longer are more focused on the higher end technical stuff. The typical workwear, the stuff that we're competing against for the majority is made in Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, countries that, really have low wages, and it's really a price game. They're really trying to focus on getting the cheapest garment to market rather than, and there certainly is quality, but I think, they're really focused on price at that point, just because there's no margin to focus on quality. So.
Yeah. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not familiar with the clothing industry. My wife works doing product development and procurement, pricing, all that stuff for Anthropologie and Urban Outfitters. Actually, she just took a new job, so she put in her 2 weeks.
Whoa, congrats.
Thanks. But they do have some stuff that's developed in the Carolinas. It's a different price point, but a lot of times what they're doing is they're sending samples overseas or, looking for samples to get made. And then they're going to maybe 3 different factories. They're getting the samples back, seeing what needs to be changed, what affects the pricing and the costing of that, then making changes to see, what their margins are. And it's more of a ensuring that your bottom line is healthy than this is the product we want and we really don't want to substitute
My
anything.
wife loves Anthropologie. You know how many times I've been stuck in that fucking store? She's like, there's no way to get out. The one in Maine, the one in Portland, just been like, there's 2 doors, you still can't find them. There's some cool stuff in there though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like the quality is they do a great job marketing. They don't pay their employees that much. The people higher up, they do pay well, but they get these young kids in to work there. They're branded well, and they have enough pull that they can get the pricing that they want from factories that they want to. And they're not the type of company that's so concerned with environmental impact or putting out the best possible product that they can.
Sounds like most.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like 99% of all brands out there. When I was in China, I managed the front office of the factory and managed all the product development, and it was primarily European brands. But the common, cycle is they come in with designers and developers come in with great ideas, or they see something from another brand or something that they really want to innovate on, and they will spend 3-4 months going back and forth, making a couple of samples and testing the product and doing a lot of internal, testing. And then the sourcing guy, who's more of an accountant, will come in and knock 40-50% of the cool features off. And then there's some internal struggle within the brand of what stays and what goes. But the bigger thing is that what I've seen is that, the within brands is that the developers have this, directive to create a cool product, and the sourcing guys have a directive to come in and meet margin, and the sourcing guys usually win that argument. And so ultimately you have a lot of these products that, started off as moonshot ideas or great ideas, and by the time they actually get to market 12 to 18 months later end up being some kind of warmed up coffee version of a previous style, just because they've cost engineered all of the innovation out of it. And that was like 80 to 85% of the products that we made, and we produced at the highest level. I would say there was 2 or 3 factories producing at the same level as us on Gore-Tex and outerwear and stuff, and that was so common. I mean, the worst one was a company that shall remain nameless, but Johnny had mentioned earlier in the episode, where they'd fly over designers, 10 people, 12 people, and they'd come in and create really innovative stuff. And that team was based in San Francisco, and it was all very senior level designers and developers and engineers. And they'd stay at the nicest hotel in Hong Kong and eat at Ruth's Chris, and we'd take them out to nice dinners. And then the sourcing team from Hong Kong would come in and try to negotiate down to the penny and cost engineer everything out of it. And these guys are flying over to Asia business class, and so there's so much overhead and waste in the process, which is actually one of the reasons why when we were looking at what opportunities. Josh and I both grew up in blue collar backgrounds, but I spent the first 10 years of my career working in technical, like high end ski wear, and Josh was in action sports and on the protective equipment side. And we had thought about doing many different types of businesses, but the biggest opportunity that we saw was workwear. And the factory that I worked for, we also produced workwear for the European market, and this was really focused on technical, utilitarian style workwear. So like this, European journeyman style for a German brand, where they took a lot of fabric from Alpine, and they were focused on the higher end of the market. None of the products translated over to North America, but when we were looking at, these guys would come over, they would have an idea, they would come over, once or twice a year, but the number one product that they produced, they launched in 2004, and it was still the number one product that they produced in 2015. And it's just shows the, I don't want to say like the longevity of the workwear customer, but it's the same, playbook that Carhartt has, where they have a couple of core styles that everyone's seen forever, and they come in and out with new stuff seasonally, but really what drives the business is just a couple of core styles and a beanie. And 1620 has been interesting because our top 2 sellers are the 2 top, are the first 2 products that we launched with. 4.5 years ago. So we've kind of followed the same trend, not by design because we've launched 20 or so products. It's just that's what the customers gravitate towards, and I think a lot of that has to do with there's more people in the market talking about that product because this is such a kind of a word of mouth industry. When a customer has a really good experience, they're going to tell their friend or tell a fellow contractor or something about the product. So,
but do you think it also comes down to the fact that like maybe those first two products were the biggest things that you wanted to focus on because that's what the market was telling you, and and when you start expanding into other things, it's like rarely I think people are become so brand centered for an entire like wardrobe. We'll just stick with clothing, where it's like I'm not buying the same socks, pants, underwear, shirt. It's like a mismatch. I think differently than a little differently with tools. Like tools, a lot of people like kind of stick with a brand and will decide to okay, well that this brand doesn't make that great of a drill, but their sanders are great, so let's just buy that so the core of this platform works. It's like if I buy a Levi pants and a J Crew t-shirt, like it still works. It doesn't. They're not. They're not reliant on each other. Where for you guys or for a brand in specific, it's like when you do have a really good SKU like these first two that do really well, and you start trying to get into other parts of that, like you mentioned the beanie, it's like the beanie's just usually an accessory, I think, and if I'm not mistaken, a lot of times it's a loss leader. It's just to kind of get the product in someone's hand, and then they come back and like, oh, they make jackets, let me give that a shot, and so on and so forth. But what is the what's your thought process behind that, like rather than trying, or like the two options of having a full set of SKU versus doing a select few SKUs really, really well?
I'll let Ted answer most of it because he's definitely a lead on product, but it's so customer specific too. I mean, you got 60+% guys that are just still wearing jeans on the job site.
Yeah.
But those guys we more have to check out like a different top piece or a technical hoodie or this or that or a base layer or maybe a different pair of socks. Then you have guys that are real serious about their pants, and maybe you've seen some dude rocking like fucking fall ravens on a job site, like because he's just all into wearing like a different style pant. But in terms of developing the product, there's always been like a set of table stakes that you kind of have if you want to be a legit brand in the way.
Yeah, I mean, I think you identified the key thing is that yes, that those were the two biggest opportunities that we identified early on, and from the early days of it's a core double knee work pant and it's a core performance chino work pant, and those are kind of the two most common styles you see outside of denim on the job site, and so that is what we focused on. I think in my mind we've launched some even better products since then. But yeah, it is maybe more niche or focused on a smaller subset of this customer base than just kind of the general workwear market. We do want to be that head to toe solution. You're totally right, where apparel is kind of I'm going to say a hodgepodge for most people, but it definitely people are they're whatever their wives are bargain hunting underwear for them at Marshalls and TJ Maxx, and they've got the brand of pant that fits them the best, and that's what they're going for. And they've had a jacket that they've had for 3 or 4 years, and so they're not going to replace the jacket to match the pants. But we think that we want to provide a technical solution for every bit of the working guy's wardrobe. We're I would say about 30% of the way there. But there's a lot of opportunity to kind of fill that in and be a brand that champions this customer from head to toe. We've really focused on where we think the key opportunities are, but there's a lot more, I would say, on t-shirts and underwear and these things that we really can't differentiate ourselves from a Calvin Klein underwear. In fact, it'd be very difficult for us to make a product as good at the moment, just because they've got so many years of experience doing it. But we can, if somebody only wants to shop in one place, and we'd like to be able to offer underwear and socks and things that gloves and things that are accompany this guy's wardrobe versus having them to shop 4 or 5 different places to get what they need. But it's a process.
Well, I'm looking at your website right now. What are the first products that you guys put out?
The double knee pant and the shop pant. The double knee utility and the shop pant.
Ah, I see. And what's the difference between these
The main
two?
difference is the fabric. So the double knee is made from a nylon cotton, which is a commonly referred to as NICO fabric blend. And this was based off the U.S. military BDU fabric, so it's a no melt, no drip, and it was designed to prevent burns from flash fires and IEDs back in the early 2000s. A lot of guys were wearing more performance, like Under Armour type stuff, and so they developed a NICO that performed like a synthetic fabric but had FR properties of an organic fabric like cotton. And that's a proprietary fabric to 1620. We developed that in partnership with Cordura when we launched the brand. And then the shop pant is made from a full 4-way stretch fabric made in Fall River, Mass. And that's they use like a core spun fabric technology, so they're covering the spandex yarn with a high tenacity nylon, and they're weaving the fabric out of this technical yarn that provides like a full 4-way stretch fabric, and so the customer and the wearer can't meet the limit of the fabric, and that's actually what Nike uses in the on-field NFL jersey in the shoulder panel. So it's designed for like high impact abrasion resistance and to be washed a bunch of times, and so it's been I would say for performance wise, a lot of guys that have worn it, there's not much like it. It's it's like a pair of golf pants from the feel, but the performance is 100x what something like a lightweight pant like that.
And then what about like stain? So my biggest issue with pants in the field is not that they even wear through. I just start getting shit on them and they look terrible. So like I end up throwing stuff out just because I have paint or spilled oil on myself, or I wiped glue on my pants. I mean, this is a problem that I have. It's probably, myself, but usually I don't even wear through crap. I just end up like trashing them because they get stained and look like shit.
Yeah. For the record, Tyler, when you hopped in and said, "Hey, we were just talking about you," that's what we were talking about.
Yeah. Like my tool belt, I just like wipe my hands all over, and that's one of the issues I have with using like the fabric Diamondback tool belts is that by the time there's so much wood glue on there, it's just this like rigid mass of wood glue, and then I have to peel it all off. With a leather belt, it peels off much easier.
It's so satisfying peeling it off, though.
It's much more satisfying peeling it off leather because it comes off as like a full chunk.
It's like the adult version of rubber cement.
Yeah. And like on my other bags, I have to spend so much time and I'm like chiseling it off, and it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain things that are never going to come out of any fabric. So it's difficult, oil and stuff like that. We have our fabrics treated with water repellent treatment that has some level of anti-stain protection. A lot of it has to do with how long you leave the stain on there. Again, this is like not 1620 exclusive, but just apparel in general, that if you get something on the pant and it sits there and dries into the fabric, it's going to be a lot harder to get out versus addressing it right away. A lot of times on the job site, that's not possible. So the shop pant fabric, because it's synthetic fiber, handles stains and debris and dirt much better than the NICO fabric. The NICO fabric, because of its organic cotton base, will the cotton absorbs. It's a cellulose based material, so it's going to absorb things and clean out not as easily as the synthetic fabric does. But they both do quite well. I mean, I think better than a lot of fabrics because of the finish that we have on there. It's kind of actually like the technology, get a little technical. It's like reverse ionization. So there's like some negative charge on the pants in the DWR. So you have this like negative charge that kind of repels water. But again, things can get beyond that, or through like weight and pressure, it like overcomes that pretty easily because there's not a huge charge on it. So
yeah, I usually do well. And like if I put on a new pair of pants, I could go all day. And then it's usually when something starts going wrong or you're under pressure where it's like, all right, screw the pants, I don't care anymore. I need to get this done. I'm late, or I just spilled something, and then it's just like, fuck it, whatever. They're like Old Navy jeans. I'll just get rid of them. It's not worth at this point. I feel like if I have like nice pants on, I mean, that's probably part of the problem, that I'm just like, whatever, these are throwaway items, so I don't really care to maintain them.
I think that's what we're talking about. It's kind of like one of the core problems with apparel is that we find something that either looks or feels good, and it doesn't matter about the durability, and they become, dispensable, not dispensable, disposable. And it's like we don't value them as much. They do their job, and we'll throw them away. And I think that's, I think you like I said before, is like you've alluded to the fact that that's probably the hardest thing with your product, is selling them on the value behind the price, right? It's it's a higher price, and and it's not that it's not doable. It's just it's a harder thing to explain in the 5-second pitch that you have to get someone's attention.
For sure. Yeah.
Where it's like, you can go with it's made in America. It's like, great. That's that matters a lot to some people, and it matters zero to a lot, the opposite. And and whether like that importance varies, but what's really important is the benefits that the end user's going to get, and then they have to weigh out, well, do I care about having to throw pants away? Do I spend 4 times the amount of money right now for a pair of pants that quote unquote could last me 2 years, or do I buy the $40 jeans that also could last me 2 years as long as I don't spill something on myself? And it's like that. I can only imagine, like, to get to that, like, I'm trying to figure out how to say it, to communicate that to an end user in such a short amount of time, it has to be difficult.
Yeah, there's a whole consumer mindset that you're just not going to break, right? It's just
right.
There's the way people buy things and the ancillary cost of limited goods, whether it's pizza in the supermarket or whether it's early on, Matt Rentis, the president and CEO of Yeti, came and saw us at Haverhill and hung out with us for like the whole day. And shot the shit with him, just talked about stuff. He kind of found us and looked us up. They came to see us, and it was awesome. He's a really smart guy. He's a guy who stewarded that brand to where it's at now through their IPO and everything. And he's just like, Walmart. Basically, the quote that stuck with me is, he said, Walmart has destroyed the American consumer mindset. And he was being kind of general there, right? They basically went through and they sued all those knockoff coolers, and they fought for all this kind of stuff. A landed good at a certain cost. Americans have this idea of like what it's supposed to cost and what the ancillary costs are to really get that good kind of landed there. And it's a generational thing. Like our grandparents paid clothing, for like their income levels, that we pay for clothing now, and you're never going to really go back in time there. I think with what's happening right now with supply chains, and Ted has some more expertise on this than I do, but what's happening with supply chains and inflation, and you're running out of places where humans can be exploited to make stuff as cheap as you want to pay for your $4 Russell t-shirt at Walmart. Those places are eventually going to run out. There's only going to be so many dirty corners in the world where people look the other way. And, there's, and things are made the way they're made with no regard to the conditions they're made in or their impact on the natural world. And that will eventually run out. Our goal is, like you're saying, is to try to champion this guy by making sure that his end use experience is better. The stuff lasts longer. It performs better. We're like those $40 pair of pants, like we know that there's no way that those $40 pair of pants can perform as well as the fabrics that make that are in pants. We know they're not going to last as long because they don't test out even close on the Martindale machine in terms of abrasion resistance. So like there's certain things that are known when you make stuff like at this level. The commitment to American manufacturing and all that goes along with that, it's tough, and you can read all the surveys, and consumers say like, oh, I want to support American made. When push comes to shove, it is what it is. And again, we've said this over and over and over again. If we were importing a bunch of flannels, for $15 and selling them for $78, there'd be nicer trucks parked out there. We'd be in a bigger space and all these kind of things. And there's no, the game's the game, the garment game's the game, and we respect what everyone's doing out there. This is just not what we're doing. And Ted's worked his ass off to build a supply chain here in the States that produce things at like an insanely high level. Our main pant factory is like a specialty factory here in New England that specializes in making stuff for like the movie industry, like really intense, like costume shit and a bunch of super high stuff that's imported to Japan. So, the make is just, it's in another place. And that took years to get to, right? We started this company in 2016, 2017, and our first year market. It's taken all the way now to really get the end product that we're kind of pumping out there. And, it's not for everyone. $174
Right.
double knee pant is for everyone. We never wanted it to be for everyone. It's not. We are, we're doing what we're doing, and there's a customer for what we're doing, and we welcome that customer to come back and buy some more stuff from us, and we'll always support him and back it up.
And that's smart. Like, no, you can't be everything to everyone. You can't even be something to everyone. But what I realize I relate to a lot of what you just said is, the exploitation of cheap labor. And I think about that in our industry, where there's guys out there, selling at a premium, like we're a high-end builder, blah blah blah, and they're selling a project for a premium, in comparison to this $78 flannel, right? But like, there's a builder out there they're selling a product at a premium, they're making a huge markup, and you're going to get a superior product from us. And then when they get awarded the job, they turn around and they race every trade to the bottom. Who can do the plumbing the cheapest? Who can do this trade the cheapest? And it's like, why did you just spend all that time convincing the client to spend a premium with you, and now you're turning around and pushing everyone?
They're just selling it.
Right.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's not about quality at that point. They're more concerned with bottom line.
Totally. But the issue beyond like the exploitation, the issue is that eventually that guy that you've squeezed every nickel out of every time he does one of your jobs, when the market isn't so great, he won't have the nest egg to survive, and that person's gone. And it's like you said, it's like those dirty corners, as you called it, like they go away, and then that $78 t-shirt isn't available anymore. That product isn't available. And it is much more for like in the future thinking, where it's like you could just play the game, import stuff, make a bunch of money, drive a Bentley to work, like all this great stuff. But you're selling something that is better for our future.
Does Nick own a Bentley? He's mentioned Bentleys like 4 times. You drive a Bentley, Nick?
I got 1 or 2. No, I'm just kidding. Not a Bentley guy.
He saves his money on jeans.
I definitely don't save money on jeans.
I mean, those are like bigger cultural questions, right? About like how we spend our money and what we do. But I think they're questions that, like, if you're in a position, you're an American consumer, you're in a position to think that way. Like, there's not a lot of people in the world that are in the position to even fucking think that way. They have to buy whatever the fuck they can to survive. Like, we're in a position where we can think that way, where we can maybe change the world the size of like our consumer dollar to do some things differently. We're not out here trying to save the world, but we are trying to do like our part. Like, I was responsible for millions of expanded polystyrene products being sold to the U.S. manufactured in China for a 15-year career as a co-founder of a helmet company. And I know my grandfather rolls over in his grave for that shit. And like, if I can do something now at this part of my career that I can feel a little bit better about, like, I'm all for that, and I'm all for trying to do things the right way, because every single one of those helmets is going to be here 1,000 years from now, and that shit is completely unsustainable. And like, we got to think differently, and if more brands thought differently, and there was more American manufacturing at the level we wanted to, and there was more demand for American made fabric, and we could sell pants at this level for maybe a better price, and everyone wins. But we've been forced to kind of navigate the skeletal remains of the American garment industry, and it's stark as fuck, and it's difficult. It takes entrepreneurs with balls that want to put on the line and do what we've done. My partner has huge balls, huge. Like
Josh has huge balls.
What he's done in the supply chain he's built, man, it's difficult. It's difficult.
I just hope you know that we're definitely using that.
Totally. We picked up our phones.
Yeah,
so.
that is going to be the open. My partner
1 hour,
has
14 minutes in.
Yes.
That's a long.
I mean, I feel like I've seen on your website multiple times it mentions gusseted crotch.
Yeah, we have more crotch shots on our website than Victoria's Secret.
We had to reinforce the
Gusset
crotch.
backup clip, Nick.
That is definitely 1 minute 14, 1 hour 14 minutes and 38 seconds.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to go from
No,
here.
I mean, I'd just like to continue that thread and just say something. This isn't
about your balls.
Well done.
Well,
You guys are awesome.
I would
Weaving
say
it
something,
together.
but I don't want it to get broadcast about how we know what each one of our balls looks like. But
Well, I'm sure you've
Yeah. A lot of
No,
test fittings.
test fit.
Europe.
It's crazy, man.
Different
Europe.
customs. Yeah.
Don't play that because my wife will never let me go to Germany again, and I really want to. So make sure you don't.
You guys are digging your own grave, guys. We're not.
I don't think they shave.
anything.
I don't think they shave their armpits.
Oh, they shave everything. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Sounds like we need a trip to Germany.
You do. Yeah.
That place is wild.
It is.
That way I can see John and Tyler's dick. Like that just doesn't seem worth it.
It's a cultural thing.
John's just being quiet. He's being smart. I'm like, what the fuck is that shit?
John's writing so he's contacting his lawyer right now. He's like, I'm being harassed.
I mean, I think it's really interesting over the last 20, 25 years where hardware, things like TVs and, I would say clothing, but, TVs and a lot of technology has come way down in price, and soft things like, education and not to say that skilled trades are a soft item, but it's more of a software type thing, has at all-time highs for price. And it's interesting the way that the world has kind of engineered itself where, what we value as a society where, I remember in college paying saving up for a year to buy $1,000 flat screen TV. And now you can buy that same size TV for $150, and that's a joke. And I'd kill for that $950 back, $850 back. But it's and a lot of that is translated over into apparel and into the workwear space where a brand like Carhartt's able to sell that double knee pant was $50 20 years ago or $45 20 years ago, and it's still $45. And the only way they've been able to cost engineer that is through, just chasing a cheaper needle and making, the pant more efficiently. But, the rest of the, things have, increased in price. And it's, at what cost does that TV get made for $150 or at what cost does that pant get made? For them to be able to resell it at $45 or $50, they must be making it for 10 or 12. And, there's a lot of suffering that goes in along the way for all of these things. Well,
it's so true. I mean, if we relate it to our business, houses cost what they cost, materials cost what they cost. The products don't vary a huge amount depending on the market you're in. The only thing that varies is who you pick to put it in and who you pick to kind of put it together in. And I know the trigger word for everyone is craftsmanship and quality and custom, and it's getting overused. But there's also at the same point, there's no real gauge. There's not a homeowner can't go, well, this guy's saying he's a craftsman. How do I know that? How do I know what custom is? What do I know? Anything could be. And that's the problem. And I mean, we talk about it a lot in the show is how do you define that? And where's the line? I think we all talk about that as like, margin has to be there somewhere to make a living, and finding that line where, I hate it where it's like, oh, what are they going to see? When we talk about like close off foam and your water barrier, air barrier, and all that stuff. That's stuff that clients never see, but that's something that lives on your conscience. And that's where I think craftsmanship and a true artist comes in, is that you're willing to stand behind or stand up for the things that people will never know. Mm. And that's the hardest thing to be able to, kind of get out there. And everyone wants to sell. That's the hardest thing about social, is that you sell it, as Nick would say, and you celebrate it, as I would say, and then everyone does, because now they know the secret sauce. They know what the speaking points are, and then it makes it harder for the consumer to understand what it is. And for you guys, I can just imagine, like, you buy these pants, or you buy someone else's pants that are kind of coming up on your bootstraps and trying to figure it out, and it just falls apart. Imagine spending the same amount of money as you guys because they copy the marketing, and then it falls apart. Like, that kills it, but it also kills the whole market. Then they don't think anything's real. I've done it where I bought shoes or something online, loved it. I was like, this is gonna be cool. Get them. And I'm like, dude, they took that photo of that shoe from the only good angle.
Did you think they were going to make you faster? And then you put them on
my
and you're
son,
like, no, I'm the same speed.
I say to my son all the time, new sneakers, it makes you faster. I thought they were going to make me taller. No, but it's like sometimes it's smoke and mirrors are the biggest thing. So, I mean, you guys have been able to prove it. And I love the product, just the weight of it in general. Like it feels like quality. And it sounds ridiculous, but it just feels like it. When you grab it, you're like, all right. I mean, there's pants you get where it's super thin, super light, and you're like, that's cool. And they last like one step from the ground to your bumper to get in your tailgate. See ya. Like, or from it's going back when I was a carpenter, it's going from, you're on the roof and you're going from one staging level to the other. See ya. That's where I lost most of my crotches over the years, is that it's just that deep stride. See ya. And I went from like Carhartts, then as I became a PM, I went to like Express Pants or whatever the fuck they were at J. Crew, and you'd blow those apart in probably every 3 months. That's what I went down to. So I think finding something that's cool, plus the sweatshirts, you haven't talked about those yet with the double button.
Yeah, Nick and Tyler, we're going to get you guys some gear too. We'll follow up after the podcast and see if you guys want to check some stuff out.
But they're dope. Like it's just, who is it? RMS loves it.
Like, John, that's what, even like you said, it's most, like initially clothing, people had a couple of outfits, and it was utilitarian, and then you had like one dress outfit, but you wore those clothes, they wore well, they broke in, and it's like, a denim jacket or a leather jacket or a nice pair of boots that you can get resold. And for me, I've always enjoyed and kind of loved watching those items break in and get more comfortable and more fitted to you. And that, like, the initial burn of whatever that cost is, where it's like, oh, I just bought a $300 pair of boots, and everyone's like, well, you could buy $300 boots, and it's like, but then you're breaking a new set of boots in every year or every 3 months, where I would rather have the same set of boots that hold up and develop that patina and then conform to your feet. And then it's like, yeah, those are my boots. You like, it's the same thing as a tool belt, like breaking in a tool belt. It's like, I don't want a new tool belt because it, like, mine's dirty. It's got that patina. It fits me well. I know where everything is, and it's so familiar to me, which most clothing lines now, it's not about that. It's about making a statement, hitting, like a market based on that year, or the, a timeline. And it's not about kind of holding up and giving you a return on that value, which it is just like anything else. It's any business. It comes down to people just wanting to get greedy and make more money, where like you guys have, it's a $200 pair of pants. And it's like, it's not like you guys are making that set of pants for $25, like the margins on more expensive shit that's handmade are actually, I feel like they're usually less than crappy stuff that doesn't even hold up.
True. I think it touches on what Johnny's saying. It's just, there's not like, there's an integrity to it, what we're trying to do, and I think like that's why we picked this category, because, it's guys we knew and guys we grew up with. My dad was a builder. It's just, so was my grandfather. It's just like, it's a fashion customer is not going to give a fuck. A builder should, an electrician should, like guys like this, like they get it. They get what we're trying to do. They deal with it every day, and so it's interesting. And we're so thankful for the guys that have believed in us and backed us. We've had some great customers and some great lifetime customers that have spent helped us make stuff better. And, like there's nothing like getting the reviews we get. Like, that's it. The marketplace is everything. It's everything, and what these guys say about the stuff, it's like, it's awesome. We want to keep making it better, keep making more for them.
Did you guys get into the name of the company before I got on the podcast?
We did not.
No.
Is there anything significant about
420 military time, bro.
Ah, ha, ha.
That's not it. We get pegged that. We get pegged that a lot.
That's not it.
You
got a whole market and you get lost.
We're Massachusetts natives, and Ted actually came up with the name. We had something else to start with.
Yeah, we had a couple other things. 1620 is the year the Pilgrims landed on Plymouth Rock. So when we started, we were making stuff here in Massachusetts. Fabric was coming from here, and we wanted to have a mass-hold name. And, we had a bunch of different, probably like 500 different words that on a whiteboard. And, we would go through and check which trademarks were available or weren't available. And this was something that was, kind of not specifically Massachusetts, but more kind of the first settlers in this country. And, it wasn't necessarily like, Jonestown colonizer stuff. It's, people that were, leaving Europe to find a better life because they were being persecuted. And it was kind of similar to Josh and I. We were under oppressive bosses previously. And, we had always wanted to kind of start our own deal. And 60 Twin was kind of fitting at the time for what we were trying to do and the journey that we were on, and had this local connection. And the actual Plymouth Rock is one of the ugliest objects in North America, so it's not something that we promote. But
and the number looks cool. It looks cool on a tag. And Americans don't know their history at all. Everyone, like, it's just like no one really knows.
We were also founded in 2016, so it's kind of a reverse number of the year we were founded. But
it was between 1620 and I have huge nuts, and we went with 1620.
The Big Ball brand or 1620.
Big nuts.
Yeah, Big
Workwear.
Baller brand was already taken by
trademark. We have worked on a trademark mass produced because we're trying to make everything here in Massachusetts when we first kind of started, and we still do make a grip of it here. There's actually some product that like yarn to finish is made in our home state, which, considering we used to make garments for the world here, pretty cool. They just recently closed the was it 3 years ago, the Textile History Museum in Lowell. That stuff in the mountain.
I mean, I don't want to talk down on Carhartt, but I cannot stand wearing their
You can't
stuff.
shit on them because they've just done so much. They've made so many garments here. They still have factories here. It would be so easy for that brand to shut those factories down and just fucking take everything overseas and not give a fuck. And they might hold on to them for marketing purposes and this kind of thing. So a lot of people still think everything's made in the U.S. Like a lot of consumers are like, oh, Carhartt's all made here. But they're still family owned. And they've probably been trying to be purchased so many times, and they could just shut those factories down, make everything overseas, and people will be happier and they make more money, and they don't. And it's something to be said for a company that's over $1 billion revenue that does stuff like that, because many companies don't do anymore. Not to sing their praises or stick up for them, but there's just I think that's fucking cool, because you find me another company that does over $1 billion that would think that way. They just don't think that way.
100%, and to kind of dig your heels in and stand behind that is sweet. I guess I was even referring more so to just the fitment of their stuff, where it's you put on a pair of those pants and it's why are these so wide right now?
The waist is so tight and the pants
they're not. Yeah, the waist is so tight.
I don't know their jackets though. Their new jackets that have come out last couple of years, between the rain ones to their I don't know what I got over there. I got a bunch of them, and they're kind of that middle line. Like I said to you before, I went to North Face for a while, then came back, and they fit well, and it's perfect.
Yep, for sure. And we get a couple friends there.
They fit you well.
We had a couple friends there do some cool stuff.
Short,
they've done some amazing,
overweight, 42-year-old.
So I don't know if it's gonna work for me.
They've done some amazing branding stuff, and they've kind of transcended. And we've heard some crazy shit that they sold $100 million of that beanie, and they're trying to only sell it direct.
Oh yeah, the beanie's going crazy.
They're trying to only sell it direct.
Yeah, hipsters love Carhartt right now.
Well, it's like a popular meme at this point, where it's everyone wears Carhartt until it's ready to do Carhartt shit.
Yeah, think about that.
That makes people want to buy it more.
200.
It's just this revolving thing.
200-something-year-old American brand that's crossed over into meme culture. I think that shit's cool.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's funny that I've never been a jacket person. I've always just worn a sweatshirt as long as I could. And earlier in this, we were talking about lighter wearing clothes, and my wife bought me a Lululemon jacket, and I was like, "What is this?"
Yes, this is the teaser for the podcast.
You know how I know you're married? You have a Lululemon jacket. But it's paper thin, and she's like, "I promise you, it's gonna be the warmest coat that you own," and it's insane. It's designed for when you're, as long as you're active, if you're walking or running. But I'll sweat my ass off in the.
What was the price tag on it?
Probably under $200. I think it was close, like low hundreds.
Do they have anything under $200?
Yeah, I don't
I
think
feel
that's
like their running shorts like still.
I think you're wrong on that price. I'm gonna Google. What was the name of the model?
Yeah, why would I know? I didn't buy it.
Okay.
But I mean, I bought it, but I didn't physically go there.
And it's the jacket that's
It's
making
sitting
you
right
hot,
here.
not the
Sitting-
yoga pants.
Let's look it up. Let's see if I have the model on here. Either way, my point is like the whole point of like Tyler, your comment about the way Carhartt fits. It's like it that's why I didn't wear jackets, because I always felt like they were too big. I didn't feel comfortable in them. And I put this thing on. It's like it's lighter than a sweatshirt and it keeps me super warm. And my point of bringing that up is like that technology with fabrics is getting so. John's showing off. You want me to put mine on? Are we doing a jacket show off here?
Damn.
Those things came out,
but it's not.
John. I thought those looked dope. Gonna get that logo put on a nice line shirt jacket from 1620 next year.
Yeah, that's what I've been telling him. He's got to buy him for the whole crew.
Let's see if I can find this thing, because now you guys are gonna piss me off. But either way, the point is, main jacket. Is that
like
technology?
That.
It's going to be way more than you think.
Totally
You're going to be like, I can't believe
$300.
that you spent that much money on
No,
this thing.
it's 100.
I have to.
It's 120.
I have to move to keep myself warm.
128 jackets.
That's fucked up because their underwear, like one pair of their underwear is $40. So one pair of underwear is $40, $38. One pair.
Oh my god!
They can sell a jacket for one.
So assuming you need
$128.
Yeah,
$128.
That's directly related to the material price, because I bet the material that they use in the underwear costs 5 times as much as what they use in the jacket. It's
but again, this is not supposed to be a judgmental moment on me. The point is technology.
But Nick has the underwear.
I'm wearing it right now.
Listen, guys, I'm gonna come clean.
He's wearing $1,000 worth of clothes.
Seriously, he's got Lululemon underwear on.
I looked earlier when you guys were saying Calvin Klein. I definitely have Calvin Klein underwear on, but they have to have come from Costco.
Costco, TJ Maxx, yeah.
TJX underwear. It's very prevalent.
I'm just gonna finish.
That Carhartt
my point is
$99.
Yeah, and I'm $30 more. But my point is that technology has come so far that we don't need these bulky wear layers, and you guys like you can be warm without having to be.
Fit more body types in that sizing. You know, it's on purpose at a brand that size and that scale. More body types will fit in big canvas bags.
Right. Yeah, understood.
You know.
Yeah. No, I mean, this isn't a work jacket. Like I walked on a job site. It has like a feather coming out of the hood because it caught a nail on the way out. Like it's not it's not durable.
They have duct tape, dude.
I think
they make black now. Wait, yeah. So what are your thoughts on $40 underwear? Like, would you ever?
Ours are going to be 60.
Yeah, but they have the reinforced crotch. The double crotch.
Lululemon's underwear, men's underwear is $40. Let's look this up.
All right, so if you're saying 8 pairs per week in case you have an accident,
$70 for a 3-pack.
I was just in the mall last week and I looked at them like, these that probably feel like just heaven on your fucking grundle, and I'm like, $38? The fuck out of here! Like me, price hating, selling $200 pants. But I mean, I almost bought them. I really did.
Yeah.
Just to
try. You know they're gonna be nice. You know they're gonna be sick.
Yeah.
The whole problem is
always in motion boxers.
You can't wear anything but those, you know.
5-inch.
You probably have to air dry them.
Yeah, you probably do.
Super soft. What else does it say? Designed to move.
Wait, they measure the inseam on the underwear?
Yeah, 5-inch. So they don't hang out below your 7-inch inseam shorts.
Nick's just rocking.
I don't know what my inseam on my shorts are.
I think you got 9.
I
definitely have never bought underwear that measured inseam.
Ergonomic.
They do it in the store.
Everyone's wearing super Cam Hanes shorts these days. You gotta wear shorter underwear than your shorts. Shorts are an all-time short length.
I don't even know what this means.
I don't mind.
Model and elastane.
Model.
Model is it's like a synthetic cotton. It's made from like wood fiber.
Oh, so they're wood underwear.
Yeah, wood, and then elastane is spandex.
Spandex.
My go-to. It's my go-to.
$68 for 3. Let's
just buy them.
Do you guys want the
And then
red camo?
Yes.
Red camo, gray.
Buy them and then just send John a pair and send me a pair. And we'll wear them every Tuesday.
They literally have like piss yellow color.
We'll get them wear them every Tuesday.
The Modern Craftsman undies.
These are our podcast underwear.
Oh my god.
I gotta go fucking plug in so we can sell some shit on Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, we have a big Black Friday sale coming up. So we only do like 2 or 3 sales a year. We really don't discount very often. We do like military and veterans discounts every day. We have law enforcement discounts. We have some union discounts. There's discounts that live like throughout the whole day, but for like the general civilian population, we don't do many discounts. And so Black Friday is a big one. And
nice.
We're not telling anyone we're doing a Cyber Monday, but we're doing a Cyber Monday one too. We told you guys, depending on
that will be when this comes out.
Yeah, so the Cyber Monday.
So if you guys are listening to this,
CM25 for 25% off, which is the biggest discount we do all year. We do 25% off once a year. And that's Cyber Monday.
Will you have a pre-order for the underwear up on the website by then?
Eventually.
Yeah, not yet. Next year.
Yet.
No. Okay.
But I mean, listen,
I do. Yeah. I do have one additional question going back to this whole outsourcing and overseas thing. Do you think that we will ever be in a position in this world that outsourcing overseas won't be so negatively looked down upon?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I think like as cultures, as these manufacturing classes rise up, like what's happening in China right now, you're going to be paying $174 for double knee, work pants made overseas. And it's gonna rise these cultures up out of the caste systems that maybe they're living in right now, similar to what American manufacturing did for America. 100%. Just the time of it.
Yeah.
Ted is way more. I spent a lot of time in China too during development trips. I never lived there full time, but Ted's seen Vietnam. He's seen all these manufacturing places. And he's seen them all change too. They're all on the come up when money flows into them. It changes.
And I think that's an important note, just in a general sense of. Because a lot of people that listen to this podcast are industry specific. Like the reference I made to paying trades more or paying trades what they're worth, or rather than pushing them to the bottom of the dollar, is that what you guys are doing for the apparel industry specific to workwear, in coming at a quote unquote premium cost. Yes, you are effectively doing that by keeping everything in the U.S., but it should be, like as John says, it's rising all tides. It's like it's allowing that market to have a better product and have the resources to build a better product because the price point is being raised up. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, disrupting it a little.
Yeah,
changing the thoughts on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's we're lucky that there's still some military contracts that have kept contract manufacturers in play, and with the changes in the theater in the Middle East, it's changing the landscape of contract manufacturing in the U.S. We're going to have to make some moves on our side of the ball to shore that up. That's what we're kind of looking at. And there's also things that are like, there are certain things that are crazy cost prohibitive to make it in the U.S. And there's opportunities to stand up other things that aren't maybe 100% U.S. made, and depending on where things kind of go. 1620 will always be a premium, high-end, American-made, workwear brand, and we're super proud of it. It's been harder to kind of get here, and it's only because of the marketplace and the customers and the people that believed in us and pushed us to make the stuff that we're making now. The stuff we're dropping here in 2021 it's the best shit we've ever made, and we're super proud of it, and it's lasting longer and getting better feedback than ever.
That's cool. I just realized Ryan's on your website.
There he is.
Oh, RMS? Surratt, He's been really kind to us. What a great guy. What a fucking cool cat. He's the best.
Dude, the guy on your accessories page, John, doesn't it look like KB?
Who's KB?
Chris, the kid that used to work for me.
He just got a new truck.
He did just get a new truck. That literally looks... wait, hold on a second.
What accessory?
You knew he got a new truck, but you didn't know his name?
Well, I don't know. He goes by KB. That sounds like somebody like one of the Kardashians' dates.
No, that's Pete Davidson.
Oh,
How do you
he
know
did.
that too?
Who goes by just their initials like KB?
The guy's rocking Lululemon. Of course he knows that.
Yeah, dude. He's got on $70 underwear.
Geez, I like you,
So
Nick. I thought you were pissed at me when I got that email when we missed the first podcast. I think you're a really good guy after talking to you for a while.
He's super passive aggressive, so don't worry.
I was like,
he probably is still mad.
You know, I was just in a mood. I was like, oh, they fucking canceled. I'm writing him an email.
Sorry.
I probably wrote out like another mean email right before that, and you were just you were on the end of it. I swear that's my buddy Chris, but
what page?
Probably not, because I don't know if
who spells Chris with a K.
On the accessories. Click on accessories.
Okay, I want accessories.
And it's the guy like looking through the rafters.
No,
like that.
Yeah,
that's
he
straight up
does site work and stuff though.
He would have no use for a pencil in his hair.
Do you know who it is, guys?
I'm trying to go there right now.
Here.
He's in the yellow T-shirt.
It's definitely
dude
not
from
him.
this guy right here. I forget this guy's name. He was framing some stuff on a golf course in Renaissance Golf. My brother was a superintendent there for a long time. And it was a shoot we did a number of years ago. Just always thought it was a great hat accessory shot. He is a local builder and does run a crew.
My buddy Chris is not a builder. Okay. I'm sending it to him right now, though. I'm like, that's definitely you or your doppelganger. So,
I don't think that ever really goes well when you think somebody looks like someone and then you send them, unless it's like some famous celebrity that's extremely handsome. I feel like they're always like, nah, that dude's way fatter than me, way uglier than me.
Well, we're gonna find out.
My hair's not that.
I just sent it to him, and he's usually
I get
good.
Tony Romo a lot, and I'm always like, oh, really, dude? Dude's like 6'3" and like super famous.
Yeah,
and my life is like this big.
So Surratt's doing a Christmas party, right? And I was supposed to have sent the logo because he's gonna put us on the flyer. And he doesn't know I'm on a podcast with you right now, Johnny. And he's like, where the fuck is your logo? I'm going to FaceTime. I can just let him know that we're on
Who is it?
He's having a Christmas party. His shop is cool. Have you guys been down to his shop, John?
Haven't been there yet, no.
He's got a cool shop, man. Some buzzardy Southern New Hampshire shit. Some really good guys in there.
Is his Christmas party today?
The 10th.
Oh,
he's not answering. What a dick. All right, I'll just take a picture and be like, all right. He's a great guy. Super talented.
I don't usually answer a phone call, and then I'm definitely not answering a FaceTime call.
It's like the most
shit. I got a couple of younger guys
from
like
my kids.
I got guys in my company that like the FaceTime. Gives me motion sickness.
I gotta give you guys props too, because I don't feel like, even looking at your website and looking at your brand, I feel like everyone has hopped on board this whole blue collar thing and, like rough into like, your brand doesn't scream that to me. It's got like, I am somewhat bummed with the like whole dirty hands, clean money and all that stuff right now that's going on. It's just a little bit
orange
too much.
Cones and neck tats. I mean,
yeah, man.
People are into what people are into, man. Styles, that's what makes everything so different and so unique. We're just
for the record,
we're just trying to make the product look as cool as it can. I mean, that's why everyone's got their head off most of the pictures, right? I mean, it's just trying to make the product look as cool as it can and put it in some unique settings. We've got a diverse customer base. We've got those dudes with super jacked up trucks and neck tattoos. We've got horse farriers. We've got it just kind of runs the gamut, and kind of it is what it is. We want the brand to always just be. We want it to look good, and we want it to be about just making the best stuff.
If you can get some Slim Fit in stock, you'll have a guy with a Lululemon jacket and some Slim Fit 1620.
Yeah. So. Now we're gonna make some more. What's your waist size, Nick?
32.
We might have some 32s, maybe.
What is the slimmest pant that you guys sell? The shop pant?
It's not on there.
It was the Slim Fit Foundation, but that is sold out. And none of our pants, they basically taper by the waist size. So like a 32 is actually going to look a little slimmer and fit a little slimmer than a 36 or a 38. Like if you go to the pants and you click on the shop pant, you can see a guy standing by a door. He's wearing a green pair of pants. He's a 32. The horse fair is a 32, I think. And you can see like that's a relatively slim fit, like a modern straight fit. It's not slim, but it's like a straight fit. You kind of have to scale down for those skinnier guys, right? Otherwise, they're just going to like You know, like they'll have that car outfit we talked about where like the waist is this big and
Yeah. I mean, you guys also have to remember Nick's not actually working, so he has
Dude,
like
John
tight
said that
pants are-
too.
tight
I'm
pants
with
are
you,
fine
though.
for him, but when you're actually working, they can't be that tight.
Unless they're 4-way stretch, they can be as tight as you want.
I don't know. It still gets uncomfortable when you're in all sorts of funny
Have you
positions.
ever worked in yoga pants?
I have never.
I'm just gonna go
put
to
on
Like,
yoga
sweatpants.
pants.
I see a lot of
listen.
contractors wearing sweatpants.
I don't know if you guys have,
Sweatpants.
They don't hold
have you
up.
guys ever
They
checked out the Australian workwear style? Like what's going on? And
Yes.
like that shit
It's
is
like an inseam of 3.
so crazy.
Yeah.
And like, you know, the population of guys in the trades over there, it's like over 60% or something. There's tons of tradies that are, you know, they push apprenticeship programs and all that kind of stuff. But man, the style is fucking crazy. They have like jogger sweatpant fucking work pants straight up.
There's a I forget the company, but it's like a lime green logo, and it's all super tapered, like slim fit work pants.
Yeah.
And I remember getting an ad, probably because I follow so many Australian accounts, but it's like I got an ad. I'm like, oh, those look nice. And
They
it's
took
like
like Justin Bieber's Target collection and they fucking put hammer loops on it. And they're like, here you go. Check it out. The shorts are so short. You're just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, how do you,
The shorts are very
they are
short.
very
dude, like,
short.
how sunburned would my thighs be day one on
Very,
a framing crew?
very.
Wouldn't you be able to sit
Not
down?
if you start wearing them early in the season. You'll
I mean,
get
it's
a
a good point, Tyler.
nice
Face.
consistent
Maybe they know
tan.
something that we don't. Some crazy style though. And it's really, it's cool marketplace
Yeah,
to
they're
check
short.
out.
We had the one
There's
guy
like,
on
there's
the
like 13 or 14 independent brands over there. There's like a ton of little work brands. It's pretty neat.
we had the one guy on the podcast who wears those shorts all the time, and I was like, I can get down with short shorts, but those are just way too short. Like I feel like you have to cross your legs when you're eating.
What kind of
and
shorts
stuff.
you wore to this foxy lady when you were 18?
They're way too tight and way too short. Could you imagine if I put a pair of them on and like walked into a customer meeting with tattoos like running all the way up my legs and thighs? Be like, what the heck are you doing here in them?
Or you might get a whole new clientele, baby.
No, you might get on the clientele.
That's true.
But that's what makes the world go around, man. Different styles, you know, and can't be everything for everyone.
Right.
Listen to the market and give them what they want to a degree.
That's fair, man.
I can't wait till Nick's your next model.
It doesn't sound like I'm their target demographic.
Do people listen to your podcast for 2 hours? They do.
People listen to our podcast
Usually
for 4
longer.
hours.
That's fucking sick. I've listened to a few, but I've never. There's a couple that have been too long, and I've been like, why am I truck that long? I do listen to a lot of podcasts though. Podcasts are fucking.
Who are you listening to?
Mostly NFL shit, so I don't get my ass kicked every week in fantasy. You know, the majority of it is NFL stuff. I listen to probably a lot more Audible these days, books on tape than podcasts, because podcasts sometimes make me think too much, and I just like to zone out when I get outside of the office.
What kind of books are you listening to?
I listen to podcasts. I listen to the All In podcast. You guys know that one?
No.
It's a good one. It's like finance, economics related, but relevant to our industry. And then mostly around like business and stuff like that. Acquired is another good one. Business breakdowns, a few things that are just kind of relevant to what we're doing on a macro level. So
podcasts, it's very tough. There's days I can listen to podcasts, and it's kind of the busy work days. But then if I have a lot going on, I'm thinking, it's almost like when I'm reading and I realize that I just read 6 pages and I was thinking about something else the entire time, and I have no idea what I read.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do the same thing with podcasts where I'm like, I just rewound 15 minutes 6 times in a row, and I still don't know what I listened to. I'm like, I feel like I just got to turn on some music or something.
Well, that's why I can't do Audible all the time, because then I'll be like, I'll like tune back in, and I'm like, that's a great point. Where'd that point come from? Why did they drive that point home? And then I find myself listening to 2 chapters again, and then I feel pressured that I have like 17 credits on Audible. That means I haven't listened to enough books. And I'm like,
did we swear too much? Were we too crass or anything? Or do you guys have some guests that are?
Oh yeah, you were probably definitely one of the most
beyond us.
Serious?
No, you're good.
I was on my buddy's podcast and I listened to it again. I'm like, I swore the whole time. Like, what the? My mom.
I mean, I definitely have a massive filter on because in everyday life, even when I'm speaking to my 5-year-old, I feel like the F word comes out of my mouth every 2 or 3 words.
I gave up.
The filter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. I'm like 98% filtered right now. Could you imagine if I wasn't?
Yeah, then the problem is like when my kids catch me like on a job site, they're gonna look at me like I have a whole different persona. Like, who is that? That guy's our dad? So now it's just like on the ice. I actually swear on the ice now. Like I grumble, motherfucker. Like, are you serious? So they're old enough.
Usually we go, we're not looking to. I mean, if somebody doesn't like the profanity, they can always turn it off.
Just want to make
Oh yeah, we're not worried about it. No,
we
not at all.
get a punch back in here. I got 5 minutes till 5. We still have a few employees in the building and got to get things tight for the rest of this week. It was really cool to be on
All right,
talking
you
to you guys, man. And Johnny, I love you, buddy. You've been such a great supporter of our salon. Those posts you did for us at JLC, that shit meant a lot, man. I'll never forget that stuff.
I'm just pumped that you guys made it there.
Screenshotted all those.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, no, really appreciate that. And Nick and Tyler, it's great to meet you guys, and really apologize for last time. I just want Teddy to be on it too. We're
no
a
worries.
2-man army, and it's super important we do it together. And we appreciate
100%.
the hell out of it because our biggest thing is we're still small and we can get our word out there. So all this stuff is really, really helpful. So we appreciate it, man.
If you guys want to check out their store, 1620usa.com. And if you're listening on Cyber Monday, what's that code again?
CM21.
Thank you, Tyler. No, CM25, Tyler.
25.
CM25.
25, sorry. 21, you're going to lose 4%. You're going to lose 4%.
We got a showroom. We also have a showroom in Amesbury, 16 Hunt Road in Amesbury. If you guys want to check some stuff out, you want to get some holiday gifting stuff for your crew and have some guys come over and try some things on, there's still time. We do super low embroideries, like minimums like 12 pieces. There's still some time to turn around some of that stuff. It's getting tight though. But come on by and check us out anytime. We're open, Tuesday through Thursday, 12 to 5 p.m.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
Right on.
Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you guys. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
holiday.
Good luck.
you guys
have a good holiday.
Good luck with Black Friday.
Wish you guys a ton of success.
Thank you.
Well, if you guys want to leave us a review, and we'll read it on iTunes, drop us 5 stars, leave us a review, hit up the Survey Monkey in our Instagram. You know what to do there. As always, this podcast is brought to you by Duration Molding and Millwork. Do you live and work in the Northeast and have some questions for the folks at Duration? If so, there's a great opportunity on Wednesday, Thursday, December 8th and 9th to talk to them directly. Join them at the LBM Expo at Rhode Island Convention Center. Please also stop by and say hello to us on Thursday afternoon as we podcast from the show floor. In the meantime, for more information about Duration's unbelievable offerings in poly ash, please visit their website at durationmillwork.com. Be sure to check them out on Instagram. Guys, we're going to be at the LBM Expo on the 9th.
That's coming up.
It is. That's not next. That's not this week. That's next week. I'm trying to make sure I'm saying my days correctly. So yeah, we'll be there. We're going to do a live podcast Q&A. And I think we're doing something with some students there.
Can't wait.
Can't wait, John says.
Thanks for the recap. In case you didn't hear me, you'll hear.
Oh, next week. Who do we got coming up next week? So
I keep getting an email every time this podcast, like during the podcast, an email comes in for that. And every time I know you're going to ask about it. And for some reason, I delete it.
Well, it's Sean Whalen from Asset Strategy.
Yes.
So, John, you had spoken to him.
Yeah, I coach his son. He's a goalie, and we talked about it, like just retirement, all that kind of stuff. And
cool.
it was kind of a good idea. And it's kind of year end, so he wanted to jump on and kind of give us two cents. And
John said, "Give his 2 cents."
But I think it'd be fun, and I think it's a topic that we need to hit more of is finances and what we're thinking and how to strategize and how to best use the money we make.
Cool.
It's true.
This podcast is also brought to you by Reno Run. First and foremost, if you guys want to learn more about Reno Run and get free delivery by signing up, hit podcast.renorun.com/Modern Craftsman. Tyler, have you used them yet? I know they're calling you.
I haven't, but they keep calling me and emailing me, and finally I got like a missed call. I didn't know who it was from. Then I saw the voicemail and immediately got a email afterwards, and I finally emailed. I think his name was Dan. I was like, Dan,
Yo, Dan.
I know what's up. Yeah, I was like, Dan, I already know what's up, man. Like, I will be giving you guys a shout when I'm up and running and need something. And I was like, guess what? You guys sponsor the podcast, and he didn't care. I don't think he acknowledged it. He was like, yeah, just let me know when you need something. I was like, all right.
Well,
He didn't even ask me what podcast.
He's on a mission, man.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys are in the Boston, Chicago, or Philly area, you can check them out. Basically, as John says, Uber for building materials, saves you the trip from packing up, headed to the lumber yard, and then turning around and coming back and trying to keep work efficiently. Like I said, podcast.rentarun.com/Modern Craftsman.
Yeah, Daniel McGuire. Shout out to Daniel.
Hopefully we didn't get him in trouble for not caring about the podcast.
Nah, I think he loves it. I think he just was like
he was focused on you.
He was a little starstruck when I finally dropped the bomb on him. He was like,
I mean, Dan, make it up to us. Just leave a review.
There we go.
Yeah, that's true.